Station. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to One Collection Down. Welcome to March Madness 2025. And welcome to my first movie review ever. Thanks for joining me tonight, everybody. Tonight we'll be covering the 1990 film Flatliners. And of course, for my first big movie review, my first time ever, I had to go big. You know me, man. I have to do everything. I gotta get the team of teams, and I think I succeeded, man. So let's bring on our panelists out and get this movie review started. First up, I got my brother, Dylan's Horror Show Station. What is going on, Dylan? How are you, my brother?
I'm good, brother. Good, man. Been a fat minute.
Oh yeah,
come
man.
out for the first movie review, man.
Yeah, I had to, bro. I had to. You're one of my old friends in this community, and one of the most smartest, intelligent, people when it comes to movies, and particularly horror movies. So I had to have you on my first show, brother.
I know you were in the chat for one of my first movie reviews, so.
Oh yeah.
Crazy. This is the first one, man. Crazy, but
I know, man. Well, thanks for joining me tonight. Let's bring out our next panelist. I got my brother, John, Comics with Kids Station.
Yo, here we go. Let's get this March Madness crazy.
How you doing, John? Thanks for joining me,
well,
my
man.
brother.
Glad I could make it, man. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, man. You're also a big film buff. I see you pull out the Blu-rays.
John be knowing his shit, man.
Yeah,
I feel like people never talk about it, but me and John a while back, we had that like 3-hour stream just bullshitting about nothing. Just everything and nothing.
It was a lot of fun, man.
That was fun, man. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Thank you, man. I definitely appreciate your time, and I appreciate your insight into tonight's film, man. And of course, when I hit you up, I said, who else can I bring on here? And the first name he brought up was Greg, the bearded comic bro.
What is up? Dude, it's good to be on your channel again, my man.
Oh yeah, man.
I feel like you were the only one that got to see the backstage. I was just bumping, vibing that beat, man. That was good. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I had to put that together in like 2 minutes, 10 minutes.
Man,
that was one of your beats.
That was
one of your
beats, it's one of mine. Yep, I made that.
Nice.
Yep. Oh yeah, glad you guys like it. I appreciate it. Well, Greg, man, thanks for your time. Oh man, can't wait to hear what you got to say about this one.
Yes. I got thoughts.
It's gonna be great. But of course, we got one last panel member, man. One of my PCP Army Bad Batch brothers, man. Love this guy to death. Also has been on plenty of PCP movie nights with Robbie and crew. I'm talking about my guy, John Castle. Spill your top line.
Whoa! Let's get some Flatliners going, baby! And if you have a bad thing to say about that movie, I'm gonna flatline you.
Oh,
let's go!
John v. John tonight. John v. John.
John v. John.
For you, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I love your energy so much, man. I had to have you on. Well, actually, when I put out the call for this, Spilio was the first guy to sign up, man. He was like, yeah.
What? Yeah, well, this movie has something special. I was only kidding. Special because I think I'm the only one here that can say this. I saw this movie on a submarine. So I was in the military. And we were out to sea, and then we get, a lot of movies. I saw a lot of movies, Flash Gordon, you name it. But Flatliners was one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks for joining me tonight, John, man. All of you guys on the panel, thanks for your time. I know Daredevil premieres tonight. That's not totally lost on me. When I picked the date, I picked this way in advance. Like, I didn't even think of Daredevil. And then when I found out like a week or two ago that it was coming out tonight, and I was like, God damn it! Of all the nights in the world, I had to pick. But you know, if you can't catch it, hopefully you catch this on the rewind, man. It's gonna be a great review. So, gentlemen, let's get into it. Flatliners, man. 1990. This thing released August of 1990. It's directed by Joel Schumacher, who you may know for directing St. Elmo's Fire, his first film. Then The Lost Boys, also The Client, Falling Down, one of my favorite movies, Falling Down. And then you know, he directed a couple movies that you may or may not like. Batman Forever and
Hell
Batman
yes.
and Robin.
Hell no.
Okay, we know Greg likes them.
We can like one and not the other. That's fine.
Val Kilmer's a good ass Batman.
There it
It's
is.
just the Batman.
Yes. Yeah.
And his world, man. His world on that cinematography of, you know, Gotham is fucking sick, dude.
Preach, Dylan. Preach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But he also directed Tigerland. I don't know if anybody ever saw Tigerland.
I did.
Phone Booth with Colin Farrell.
He worked with him, a couple times.
Great movie. And 2004's Phantom of the Opera with Gerard Butler. Anybody see that one?
Forgot about that one. Nice.
Yeah.
Did you ever see? He did a great movie called Flawless with De Niro. It was really good.
Oh man, I didn't see that one on the thing. Okay.
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman is a drag queen teaching De Niro how to speak again after he has a stroke by teaching him how to sing. And so it's De Niro, who's this very bigoted guy who doesn't want people to know he had a stroke, and Philip Seymour Hoffman, this very, you know, eccentric drag queen, trying to teach him how to sing in the privacy of his home, because he's fine with the drag queen seeing him after his stroke, but he doesn't want anyone else to see him. So it's all about his pride and ego.
Wait, Bobby De Niro is singing in this movie?
He's using singing as a way to learn to speak again, right?
You just
it's
sold
really
me, bro.
good. It's a really good movie, and those two actors are phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he did 8mm too. And Jim Carrey's like only horror movie, that number 23.
Yes.
Oh no
good
shit!
one. Yeah.
I didn't know any of
Yeah.
that. Damn, bro. Hell yeah. See, this is why I got the movie gurus here, man, to help me out with this thing. But yeah, this movie was also produced by actor Michael Douglas, which I had no idea.
Wow.
It was made on a $26 million budget, and it had a box office of $61.5 million, so not a dud. It actually debuted at number one when it came out in August. Of course, it stars in a crazy all-star cast, man. We got Kiefer Sutherland, we got Julia Roberts, we got Kevin freaking Bacon. Come on.
Yep.
We got William Baldwin. I don't know who that guy is.
Shots fired at Sliver.
Backdraft. Come on.
One
of the 80 Billy Baldwin.
Billion Baldwins, right?
Yep.
And man, a really young Oliver Platt, who's a fantastic actor.
He's creeping over your shoulder there. Look at him.
And this is basically a psychological thriller about 5 medical students who perform near-death experiments in order to prove if there's life after death. Of course, the experiment goes wrong, right? Because as soon as they come back to life, they start having these horrific hallucinations. I saw this in the movie theater when I was 10 years old, and a lot of this shit went over my head. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't know what the fuck was going on in this movie. All I knew is that there were some parts that were kind of scary, and it always kind of stood with me over the years. I don't know. I always had to Flatliners. I remember that movie, man. It's just the feeling of that it gave me, right? Because this movie has a ton of atmosphere, and of course it had that cast. I mean, I was a big Lost Boys fan. I was a big Footloose fan, right? So it's like Kevin Bacon and Kiefer Sutherland movie together.
Hell yeah.
Two of those things are not like the other.
So yeah, man, this one always kind of like stuck out in the memory, even years and years later. And I gotta say, on the rewatch, I think this movie was billed the wrong way when I was a kid. I think this movie was billed as a horror movie, like a straight up horror movie. And Although there is some scary parts, I think if that's what you're looking for, you're not gonna find it here, and that may be disappointing to some people. You know what I mean? But on this watch, I just took it for the thriller that it was. I don't know, guys. I kind of liked it on this watch. But of course, I want to know you and everybody in the chat's overall thoughts on Flatliners from 1990. And I'll start with my man Dylan. Dylan, um, of course, I already know that you saw this one before, but yeah, what did you think of this movie? What's your history with this movie?
Yeah, I mean, more of my history is with Joel Schumacher and the Lost Boys, and his Batman films, because Lost Boys is, like I told you backstage, one of my all-time favorite movies. Something me and my mom watched growing up constantly. And obviously, Batman's always been my favorite. So, yeah, I always loved his work, and I love Kiefer Sutherland and Kevin Bacon. So when Flatliners came out, I mean, I wasn't alive at the time, but when I was a kid going to the VH store and I see, Lost Boys, and I'm loving that, so I go check out more of his work, and I see, you see this poster that's behind us with this all-star cast, and I checked it out, and back then I wasn't as crazy about it. It's grown on me more as I've gotten older. It's not my favorite Schumacher film by any means, but it's one of those movies that, because the cast is so damn incredible, and they are in the early stages of their career, I forgive it for a lot of things, but I think it does have good cinematography. I think it's a pretty fairly unique idea. I think some things could have been executed better. Honestly, sometimes I almost forgot this came after Lost Boys, because sometimes the way it's filmed, I almost feel like, I don't know if he was trying to do different things, but he seems more like new to film on this film than he does on Lost Boys, or like St. Elmo's Fire. You wouldn't think this came after those movies. You would think this might be like his first film. But I still like the film. I still love the cast, and I definitely do enjoy it. And it's a good one, man. I do think things could have been better though, and I feel like they had a chance with the remake to really do something really cool, but of course they flopped that shit, because that's what they do nowadays. They but yeah, I like it. I like the film, so I don't hate it by any means. Just not my favorite Schumacher.
I didn't know there was a remake until looking for this.
That's what I said. I said the same shit, because everybody asked me. They said, "Oh, you're doing Flatliners? Which one? The one from 2017?" I said, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
I've never even seen it. I've never even seen it.
I didn't know any of these people in the poster were in the movie. I watched the wrong Flatliners. You didn't tell me which one. You just said
no.
I even messaged Fable like 3 times. You're sure you want the 1990, right?
Yeah, he did. He tried to make sure.
Just making sure, just double, triple checking. 1990, right?
But I like what you said there, Dylan, about it being sort of, I don't know, kind of before a Lost Boys, right? But yeah. I think it comes across that way because he was trying a new style with this one.
Definitely.
Yeah, one that would carry over to Batman in a lot of ways.
It's not as flashy as his other films, like Lost Boys is so flashy, man. And you were in the 90s too at this point, so it's like, it's a different era of horror films, the 80s and 90s. So as incredible as the 80s are, I love the 90s too, man. And the 90s it had a different feel to it, and I think it does fit well for the 90s. But I mean, dude, cinematography though is still great. It's done by like Jan de Bont, who did.
There it is. The missing recipe. Dylan just hit on it.
Yeah, I mean, Twister. Whoa.
Speed.
Die Hard. Speed.
Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, I was gonna the Hunt for Red October.
Wow.
Your Basic Instinct. Even did one episode of Tales from the Crypt, but still, man, that counts for me because I love Tales from the Crypt. That was one of my all-time.
You did Black Rain for Ridley Scott. The
Yeah, I
Michael
mean, dude.
Douglas movie.
And I mean, dude, Twister, man, it's just that's one of my freaking favorite films, dude. I love that. I know telling my girl, I was like, I love Twister. She's like, you do? I was like, I mean, it's not like top 10, but I like it might be like top 50. I just love that movie. I'm a huge Bill Paxton fan, though. Always loved him.
Fucking old wolf. Get out of here, bitch. Sorry, I'm cursing already on Fable's show.
So John, man, let me know. What are your overall thoughts on your I'm sure your 19th viewing of Flatliners?
I don't think I saw it in the theater, but I definitely saw it on HBO or wherever many times as a youngster. I got to take that arrow out of my back from Dylan telling me he wasn't alive when this movie was made. Get the hell out. What am I doing here? God dang, Dylan.
94, man. 94.
Aging me.
Hey, I'll be 31 in April, man. So at least I'm in my 30s. When I first met you, I was like 24 when I first met you, man.
But still full of a ton of knowledge, man. That's the most amazing thing, man.
Hey, man, my mom taught me right, man, when I was a kid.
There it is. I will say I'm the hater tonight. This movie did not hold up well for me. I don't know that I ever loved it. It's definitely lesser Schumacher, which is probably a really harsh insult if you think about some of his films. I like Schumacher as a filmmaker in general. I think he's got some really superb movies. Dylan and I share a massive love for Lost Boys. I think it's a superb movie that I can rewatch time and again and have just as much fun. Even the saxophone guy, making me believe.
Who doesn't love the saxophone guy, right?
Saxophone guy crushes that movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So I think this one, as much as it has the secret ingredient of Jan de Bont doing the cinematography, I think whoever the screenwriter, we can put that guy down. We can put him down. He's had his turn. I think this movie could have been something really interesting. I think to your point, Fable, it shouldn't have been a horror film. I think it should have been an emotional drama about awful people learning how crappy they were in life and maybe I can make some better choices with the rest of my life. I don't think it fits. I think the horror elements are what ultimately drag the movie down. I think it's too busy trying to be a horror film when it's really a movie about awful people realizing how awful they've been all their lives.
It's not a great horror film, honestly. It's not like it has
not
a
at
shit
all.
ton like horror stuff. More thriller to me, but if they were gonna go horror, they should have leaned more into that.
Yeah. I think that was the mistake. I think they wanted it to be horror because they could sell a cool looking horror film, but that's not ultimately what this movie is trying to be. Is something very different, and so that's the disconnect that is having between, I think, filmmaker and or maybe producer and writer.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think that the premise isn't fully realized in a lot of ways, right? Like, the idea is freaking cool. Like, coming back, from death, and then what did you bring back with you from the other side?
Yeah.
That kind of is very intriguing.
It's just ghosts are following me now. It's like they're bringing stuff back.
Yeah, no, I had a great premise. I just don't know if they executed it all the way. But Greg, man, what about you, man? What did you think? Overall thoughts on this film?
Well, I remember first time I actually saw this film. I was on a submarine, and and I don't think many people can say that, but and what's really weird is then when I first saw Hunt for Red October, I was flatlining, so it buck wild scenario. So no, I'm sure I saw this at some point as a kid, and when I say kid, I'm talking probably college, because my parents wouldn't let me watch something like this when I was a kid. But I know the first time I remember fully watching it was for a show I did with John for the Joel Schumacher remembrance. When he passed away, we watched a lot of his films and talked about it. And I thought I liked it. When you were like, hey, you want to watch Flatliners? I was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, Joel Schumacher, look at that cast, Kiefer and Kevin and Julia and Oliver. Come on. I was like, let's go. I guess I forgot what I saw the first time I watched it a couple years ago. Because again, I think it's a lot of what you all have said. I think the idea, the concept is cool. it's an issue with a lot of comics sometimes, right? Like you have a great first issue because there's a good story, but they didn't know how to, I feel like, execute that story and bring it to its fullness. And just kind of, I guess I'll say it fell flat for me. Like, thank you. I don't think the characters, you could tell these are early on in the actor's career for them, or for a part, or younger still, like, because I don't think like it really hinged on it being a character drama for the most part. And I don't think like I was invested in these characters a little bit because they weren't great people. So I really wasn't rooting for them in that. And then I also feel like they were still trying to figure out who they were as actors too. And so I don't think the performances were strong enough to carry the bad writing of the screenwriting that was being fleshed out there. So I think the concept is a cool idea, right? Like, yeah, you're flatlining. What's going to happen when you are dead for so many minutes? And then what happens? And like what you've all talked about, bringing stuff back. It was like, really, that's it. And it felt kind of anticlimactic, really. Like, it was like, really, that's it. Like there wasn't a lot of like, I don't know. I wanted some of their actions like to cause some of them to die, like, and cause issues and trauma. Like it just was like, it just kind of like, oh, that was it. Like it didn't knock it out of the park for me. So that's kind of where I was at. Like I wanted to like it more than I thought I did.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. I was waiting for one of them to die for some reason. I don't know why I thought in my memory that one of them.
I thought
wasn't
Oliver
gonna come
did.
back.
For some reason, I thought Oliver did. And
Billy Baldwin needed to die.
He needed to. He needed to at the first 10 minutes of the movie, just like let's just have him
I'm
like
just
go,
saying.
like his flatline go wrong, and it didn't work out.
No, zero redemption. Zero redemption.
Spilio, my brother, I have a feeling like you kind of enjoyed this movie a little more than maybe these guys. But what's your overall thoughts on?
No, I really did. I
Flatliners.
enjoyed this movie. I forgot where I saw it the first time, but I think I enjoyed it. So no, and well, obviously we were forced to watch it. So, and everybody back then had the hots for Julia Roberts and all. I didn't. I don't know. I don't know what it was. So I enjoyed it. It is a typical, I would say, yes, this is 90, but 80, not late 80s, not horror movie, but movie. The look, you can definitely tell that Schumacher, he did St. Elmo's Fire before this one. And then he went to this and he wanted to do something different. He wanted a darker, because this movie is known like the dark Brat Pack movie and all. So
I could see that.
Yeah. So it was like, it's weird. But anyway, so I know he wanted to do dark. I like the grit and the dark and the smoke, and because it probably reminds me of that time, probably. But I enjoyed, and that the one thing I will say, that first Flatline with Kiefer, I enjoyed so much. And then the second one, I enjoyed a little less.
Right.
And then the third, a little less. Because it felt like it was just, doing the same thing over and over and over again. But no, I enjoyed the movie. I had a good time. I mean, where I saw it, we had a good time because there was a lot of boobs in this movie. So that was good for our part. Maybe that's why I like the movie so much.
There you go.
There you go.
It's okay. It's all right.
So no, and I enjoyed it. And at that time, Kiefer Sutherland was killing it. Yeah, so that was a plus. And of course, Kevin Bacon. But I was always a Kiefer Sutherland guy. Lost Boys is one of my top 3. I love that.
Yeah. I don't swing that way, but if I did, Kiefer, and Lost Boys, come on. That's awesome. A sexy son of a bitch, right?
Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I know it has its flaws. I know there's some plot, but as an overall entertainment, I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, we mentioned it already. This cast, right? A bunch of actors. Some of them starting out, right? This is like Julia Roberts' first thing, right? Or second thing?
No. I think it was Oliver Platt's first.
First thing?
Or, I think, or like maybe his closest. I can't remember, but I think it was his first.
Okay. Well, yeah, man. I just wanted to highlight some of the performances, some of the characters. If anybody has a favorite performance or character, let me know who or what performance that is. So
just so you know, Julia Roberts had already done Mystic, Pizza, Steel Magnolias, and then Pretty Woman came out the same year as Flatliners.
It came out right after Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Damn,
that's why it did good in the theaters, because
it's great because she looks really young in this though. I don't know why. There's some
when she's wearing the glasses. I can see it there. That she's really good with the glasses.
But Dylan, man, what's a character or performance you want to highlight in this film?
I mean, I feel y'all, man. I love Kiefer, man. I said it's got to be Kiefer, but I feel like maybe I'll let somebody else take him, and I'll just be like this, the guy that I am, and I'll go Billy Baldwin, man. Just that motherfucker, he was slaying them, man. He was slaying them. Those are recording and shit. And he's like, don't forget the camera. What camera? And he's just like looking at the camera, just like, I'm like, damn, get him, bro. Get him.
Oh my God.
Getting in trouble with his chick because he's got she found his collection of video. I mean, that was back in the day when these guys were fucking always keeping a little VHS collection of all their their chicks that they banged through the years. But yeah, he just cracked me up, man. And then it's like the ghosts that are following him or whatever, or the pad, whatever, not ghosts, but what's following him is all these chicks that he's videotaped through the years. So
yeah, that was kind of scary, dude. When the chicks that were showing up around and they were hitting on him and they were being really aggressive, kind of like a man would be, and I was like, damn, is that how we are? Shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. Billy Baldwin, definitely, bro. I like that. I like that.
He's a good one in this, man. He was funny. He was
John,
funny.
What's a character or performance you want to highlight in this film?
I mean, I appreciate Dylan passing the ball because it's got to be Kiefer. I mean, he kind of
I knew
the whole damn
somebody
movie.
was taking him.
No, if you didn't pick him, I had to. It's the first round draft pick. He just overshadows the entire movie. His performance is creepy as hell. He's just he's such a scumbag. He's so psychologically traumatized by his misbegotten youth, and he's just taking it out on everybody. He's a liar. He's
a child killer.
Yeah, I was gonna say his past is the darkest too out of everyone.
Absolutely.
It's like Billy's, because he's banging some chicks and recording them. It's like his is way worse than everyone else's.
Yeah.
And hurt the dogs too. Come on.
Yeah.
I know. I was gonna say that motherfucker. I was like, that's why I ain't pick you, Kiefer. You killed fucking doggy, mother.
On top of the kid beating his ass, the dog should have bit him too.
Right.
But he just dominates, I think, the movie in general. Even when he's not on screen, I feel like his presence is always kind of hovering over everything, and it's a strong performance. I mean, you can see that he's already got a shorthand with Joel Schumacher because it just bled over from Lost Boys now into this, and it works really, really well. They're a strong duo, those two. And he's in Phone Booth too. He's the guy on the other end of the phone in Phone Booth, so they clearly work together a few times.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Kiefer. He has a presence. He doesn't have to do much, man. He just got to show up, show a sexy mug, and you're like, God damn, this guy right here.
It's Jack Bauer, man. Don't talk bad about Jack Bauer.
But Greg, man, what's a performance or a character you want to highlight?
I mean, there was only one, and John took it. I mean, it's Kiefer. Kiefer carries the movie. What he brought to the table. Oliver's character didn't do much for me. I think the next, if Kiefer's gone, I'll go Kevin Bacon. But it's not top performance Kevin Bacon. There are some moments even where I was watching it where I was like, this feels like you're earlier in your career. Like it wasn't like the emotion behind like some, and I know he wasn't, but still like he's where I see him now, because again, I'm watching, I have to look at it too in the context that I'm consuming this media in, right? Like this is something like if I saw it in 1990, like it probably would have been a lot more, I wouldn't be as critical of like these acting roles and stuff, but it's, you know, looking at back and knowing what Kevin Bacon can bring to a role, like this is where it's like, ugh. I think like I wanted to see a little bit more because I think his interactions with Kiefer's character, I think that brought the most drama and the character drivenness of the story. But I feel like it's the best. I mean, if I can't have Kiefer, you know, I'll take Kevin, or at least maybe the kid that Kiefer bullied. That I'll take that as my favorite then. The kid that is attacking Kiefer Sutherland throughout the movie.
Damn, you took mine, Greg. You can't take 3. You took mine.
I can do what I want, Fable.
Oh, but Spilio, man, what's a character or performance that you want to highlight?
Mentioned it before, the dog. I enjoyed the dog. I enjoyed it because that dog played crippled very well.
I know, right?
I was crying my eyes. I was like, no, not the dog.
How did they get the dog to walk like that? That's amazing.
I don't know. And then, you know, at the end, then you hear him whimper. I was like, oh, no. I hated it. The dog. Very well.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, man, I'm going to take the kid.
Take the kid
because I'm not very fond of child actors. I think they're not the best thing in the world. Very few child actors that I love. But this kid is actually freaking scary. Like when he shows up to beat the shit out of Kiefer Sutherland, he looks like he's been boxing for a little while, man. That kid has a good uppercut, man. He has a good left hook, man. I was noticing. And then when he jumps on top of Kiefer, that face he had when he was holding down the bar on Kiefer, I'm like, shit, this kid is, I don't want to piss this little boy off. So yeah, he kind of scared me. And you know what? Now that I think about it, I think that's what scared me back in the days too, when I was younger and I saw this movie. I was like, I think this is why I was scared of this movie. This little kid, man. But yeah, I'll take the kid as well.
Creepy kids are the worst.
Now, when it comes to, you know, we talked about style and, you know, editing and cinematography in this movie. I think this movie has a ton of style. But Dylan, what did you think of the style and the structure of this film?
Yeah, I mean, I think the style's there. I mean, it's Schumacher, so there's always going to be style. Like I said, though, I feel like this is a little bit, you know, he was trying to do something a little different, so it's not as stylistic as some of, you know, like obviously, like Lost Boys. You know, it's hard. It's not really fair to compare them, but since it came like right after, and they both got Kiefer, it's just always gonna be in my head. And you know, when I see stuff like, you know, his Batman and stuff, you know, dude's got style out the ass. And like I said, I just recently found out that he was what was it, fashion designer or whatever. So but I saw like an old Blu-ray of this. So, and I know Arrow recently did a really a good 4K on this, so I'm gonna pick that up at some point because I'd like to see it like now with a 4K scan. I think that would help it out. So obviously the version I saw is a little bit more grainy, but yeah, I mean, I think the style is always there when it comes to, you know, Schumacher. Structure, it's fine, you know, like John said though, you know, with the Flatliners, it's like after Kiefer's, they all start going downhill. So, but I think, you know, structure of the movie's fine. It just, you know, nothing crazy, but yeah.
All right, yeah, absolutely. John, style and structure. What do you think?
I mean, one of the big home runs for me in this movie is Jan de Bont, the cinematographer. We kind of hit on him earlier. If you guys aren't familiar with him, you should go through his filmography and watch a ton of his stuff, because you're talking great action movies like Speed, that he directed and shot. And then of course, cinematography wise, he shot Die Hard, gang. Like this guy was lights out. Like
Kind
an
of interesting
absolute
he did this
banger.
though, being
Yeah.
so like huge in action movies, you know, that he did this. But
yeah, it's definitely something that you can tell he was really trying to do a lot of different kinds of thriller kind of movies. Because then, you know, obviously you mentioned Basic Instinct, and Hunt for Red October happened in between or just before Flatliners the same year.
wow.
They came out the same year. So he was the guy for these kinds of movies for a while, and then obviously went on and shot his own movies and became a really great filmmaker on his own right. I think he carries the visual style of the movie and gets a lot that he can kind of do within these like dream like afterlife, you know, on the edge of living sequences. I think that makes the movie kind of interesting. Now, I think they could have gone further. I think they could have gone some really kind of emotionally heavy places. I still felt like they were doing a little bit too much of making it look pretty, but you know, I also think every time somebody needed a flatline, they picked the most fucked up place in the world to do this. Like, hey, there's an abandoned mannequin warehouse over on the, you know, the other south side. Let's just go there and bring somebody. That can't possibly have any bad mojo, right? That's a great place to do that.
Yeah,
or on Halloween, and they do it on Halloween.
Yeah, this totally like this. What could go wrong? Like,
right?
Yeah, I'll bring my
visually
EKG monitor. I'll meet you at 8.
Yeah, right. But visually, obviously, it gives us something kind of interesting to look at. But the ridiculous factor makes you go, okay, that's the spot you're gonna pick to do your really creepy murder suicide pact. Like, okay, let's go for this.
Oh yeah. Structure, anything with the structure you want to know?
I mean, I think you guys kind of hit on it. I do think the repetition of it after a while, it's like, oh, so another one of these guys that was a shitheel bully when he was younger in life. Okay, all right, I get it. Like each one of them, except for Julia, seemed to be kind of a turd. It was kind of like, all right, wow, you guys all suck. I really don't know that I care about any of you guys after a while with them. So I really think they should have branched out and given them each a little something different to do instead of making them all just complete jerks.
Oh yeah. Greg, man, style and structure, what do you think?
I mean, the style, like it's all been said, the style is there. It was intriguing. That was part for me where I was like, okay, this is cool, like how it was shot, and like, you know, the very much the blue you know, wash over the movie throughout it a lot of times.
The movie is very blue.
Yeah,
very blue.
And I dug that. I like that, you know, that vibe a lot, because it reminded me of like the, you know, the flatline meter, kind of like the blue line, and like, so like I thought that was kind of a cool thing. You know, it's very much a toned down version of a Schumacher style, I think, movie, right? Like where they're flatlining is this like abandoned museum with like, but it's like this very gothic, like it reminds me of like a C-list version of his Gotham City, right? Like, you know, very toned down, but still the big statues, the big archways and things like that. And like the scene in Halloween right in front of it, you know, like with the kids riding on the bicycles with like the triple-sided Halloween pumpkin mask, very much felt like something out of a Schumacher movie, whether it's Lost Boys or like the bad boy neon gang from Batman Forever. Like those moments hit there. I thought it was, the style wasn't bad. It just felt lower budget. And I don't know. I don't know what that I think you said $21 million budget compared to the other movies of where that was at. And then the structure, I mean, it's the same thing that everyone has said of, it was so repetitive of, we're just going to flatline longer. And you got to come back the same way, you know, have two of the backstories be that the two main characters were bullies in school. Like, it was like, there are other ways to be pieces of trash. Like, you don't have to just be a schoolyard bully. Like, what else? You could have expanded on that a little bit. I think it would have.
I agree.
I think that's where the structure for me fell apart. Of, they needed to spend less time flatlining and more time, like, show me a montage of them flatlining and then show me the repercussions of that and how that changes the dynamic of that, you know, through and through. I don't need to watch 30 minutes of each one of them doing it together. Like, give me give me a Rocky montage of them flatlining, and then show me the repercussions and what happens, and allow the characters to have the space to kind of argue and fight and figure stuff out a little bit more than it was given to me. So again, I feel like I'm repeating everything that they said about like it just I wanted to I guess I want to know the world more, and you know, and a little bit something more than just childhood bullying.
Yeah, no, totally, man. That's great. John, man, what do you think about the style and structure of this one?
The style, I enjoyed. I didn't mention that we just saw it again today, my wife and I, for this. So, and I noticed like in almost every scene that was outdoors, there was smoke off the ground.
Smoke everywhere.
There was smoke everywhere. When they went to the house, the out in the farm, there was smoke on the grass. I was like, what the heck is this? But I did like the look, when it panned in a couple times of the Chicago, is it the Chicago Institute? I think it was, that's where it was filmed and all. And I really enjoyed, because like what John said, it had a nice gargoyle type look to it, and it was really funny in the live scenes. There was a lot of gargoyles and demons and everything like that. So I thought that was really cool. I love the color. Every time something was going to happen, that blue went to red. So I enjoyed that too. I wasn't used to Joel Schumacher at that time in the 90s. It came later. And actually, I really thought that his Batman was his norm. You know what I mean? But because back then I forgot that he did this one. So going back, you guys were correct. You can definitely see a big difference and all from this and the prior movies. So I enjoyed the style. I liked the darkness and all that. It was, I think the darkness also covers a lot. I don't know why it was 21 million to make it. Unless it's the actors, but they weren't that known back then. But I know that if you darken a lot, the place looks a lot bigger. Oh, and speaking of that, who lives in a house that Kiefer Sutherland lived?
Tell me about it, dude.
Oh, it drove me insane. It drove me insane, John.
Oh my God! What did he live in? Like the White House? Man,
he's got to be a nepo baby.
He lived in the White House with no furniture.
Yes. Oh, it was like, what the hell? He's not a doctor, right? He's a student. Like, so that threw me out, a little bit. And but the structure, everybody said it. I think it had a great story, and it could have been really good. I truly believe because the movie's not short. What is it? It's 2 hours and what?
I think it's just a 2 hours.
40 something, an hour 40 something.
Oh, okay. So I think they then I was right. But then I think they could add, like what John said, add more to the fire. You know what I mean? I love Oliver Platt, but I think what he did was good, because I'm looking back now and seeing all his other movies. You could see the Oliver Platt that was growing into what he was, what he is. So, so that part, I was surprised that he wasn't in it more, but, and I thought the ending was a sugar-coated ending. It was just like, how far was he under? 10 minutes, 12 minutes? He's dead.
He's dead.
He's dead. I mean, come on.
Or severely brain damaged.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, that's really it.
Yeah. For me, I think this is a case of style over substance. I think it was too stylized, if you ask me. Although this is probably why they chose him for Batman to replace Tim Burton, because of the gothic, because I mean, yeah, this place that they're doing this thing in, I'm like, this shit is like a tomb, dude. No wonder why you guys are getting haunted by whatever the fuck you're getting haunted by. Like, Jesus Christ, like this thing looked like I don't know, man. And every scene was kind of like that. But it was a little too stylish for me, a little bit, because all right, I know there's fans of the Batman movie, Batman Forever, Batman Robin, but one of the things that annoyed the shit out of me about those movies was how fucking colorful they were. Like they were just blue, neon red, neon pink, neon green everywhere. And
Greg and
could
I are
see,
judging you right now.
and I could definitely see the beginnings of that style in this film.
Oh,
And
sure.
I don't know if it totally went with this film because, like, all right, like half of the scenes there was like a water effect going on everywhere. It's like fucking water reflections all over the place, and I'm like, what the hell? You have like a fish tank somewhere? Like this water everywhere. Lights that are kind of weird. Like when they were going through the hospital, they had like a neon red light over the archways of each of the hallways in the hospital. What fucking hospital is this? It's like
Yeah, the hospital was weird too.
Is this the hospital of the future? Like, what the hell's going on here? And just how blue and sepia this movie was. It was either blue or sepia or a combination of both. So I'm not gonna knock it for its style because it's a choice. And I appreciate that choice. You know what I mean? I like when somebody has a signature or a style of thing. I just think it was a little too heavy for this kind of film. And as far as structure goes, yeah, you could shave 10 minutes off of this easy. Easy, you could shave 10 minutes off of this. And maybe just have Kiefer Sutherland and Kevin Bacon just have the backstories, and maybe not them both being bullies. You know, they could have different stories, but then we could really focus on what is haunting them, right? What's coming after them and stuff like that. Because I would have liked to see more of Julia Roberts' father, looking like I mean, he was a heroin addict apparently, and he looked like a zombie in one quick cut. I would have wanted to see more of him haunting her in a certain way. You know what I mean? So they focus on the kid that was beating up Kiefer Sutherland way more than anybody else's haunting. So yeah, I would have shaved 10 minutes. And I guess what bothered me is the ending, because it was like, let's make this climactic ending of him running to kill himself. You know what I mean? And jumping in his dream. And I don't know. They try to like amp it up too much, and I don't think it paid off at the end, because he falls out the tree. Oh! And then they like shock him awake. So I don't know. Greg said it earlier. It was a little anticlimactic for me. So yeah, I could have done with a little less flatlining, probably 10 minutes shorter. And you might have had an instant classic here, but
I was
yeah.
surprised that it was like an hour and 50 minutes, especially back then, man. Movies didn't go past like an hour and 30, especially horror movies. Because I mean, even though we say that it's not a major horror movie, but it was definitely, promoted as a horror movie. And yeah, I was like, damn, I was like, holy shit, it's like almost 2 hours, dude. Like that,
Yeah.
That was surprising. I did not remember that. I think a little could have definitely got shaved off.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know me already. I'm a big fan of hour and a half movies. I think they fit the 3-act structure perfectly. Not to say that every movie has to be an hour and a half. Some movies need their 2-hour run times and stuff, but if you're gonna go over an hour and a half, you have to make every minute count after that hour and a half mark. You know what I mean? Every minute has to count towards the story you're telling. But anyway, let's put a big bow on this thing, man. Just talk about the theme real quick, and what do you think that this movie says to you? What are they trying to say in the film? Dylan, we'll start with you. What did you think about the theme of Flatliners?
Theme, yeah, I mean, classic. I mean, doesn't everybody want to know, what if there's something after, death? Probably one of the biggest questions that every human thinks about. I feel like, if not, if some people might not care, but I feel like everybody wonders, is there, something, and what is there? And you always see those stories on YouTube about somebody that died for 5 minutes, and I saw the light, I saw it, or I remember when my grandfather had a massive heart attack, and I was like, he died on the scene and had to be resuscitated. And he was like, yeah, I ain't see shit. It was black. I was like, Damn, bro. Like, don't be telling me shit like that, bro. I don't want to hear you trying to freak me out. I was like, you ain't die then, man. That's why you ain't seen nothing because you was in purgatory. You know, I gotta like try to I gotta like fix myself out of it, you know. But yeah, man, that's where, you know, I think that it's like we all said, it's a great concept. Great concept. I think it could have been executed better, but you know, definitely, you know, that classic theme of, you know, what is there? You know, what happens after we die? And
I know what. We all go to Greece. There you go.
Yeah, man, that's great. Yeah, definitely. One of the things that is the greatness of this movie, it's its premise, and I think that's worth exploring. You know, I know they already remade this movie, but maybe it's time to remake this movie. See if we can get it right on the third time. But John, what do you think this movie says to you? What is it trying to say?
It says don't be a dick. I think that's kind of the basics. I mean, if you don't take away that, I think like everybody kind of needs to learn that lesson, I suppose, except Julia Roberts, who's like, don't deal with your dad's trauma or carry it with you, I guess. But yeah, don't be a dick. Like Billy Baldwin, stop recording your girls without letting them know. Like that's a dick move, man.
Dick move, dude.
Yeah, seriously. Like, yeah, just don't be a dick. That was my big takeaway. Karma is real. Don't be a dick.
Julia Roberts leaving her toys around. I told you a million times, Julia Roberts, don't leave your goddamn toys on the staircase. You can slip
Clearly her flaw, right?
Fucking dick.
That was my big takeaway.
Greg, what do you think the theme of this movie is? What is it saying to you?
I don't know what it's trying. I know what it's trying to say. I don't know if it says it. I think it's trying to say, like, you know, John's like says, don't be a dick, but like it's ultimately of like a redemption story, or trying to be of like understanding your flaws and what you do with it. But the problem is there were no consequences for any of their actions. And when I say that, I'm taking away Julia Roberts. Because like that story just also is like a flawed in my mindset of dealing with trauma and grief and how we process it. But that's the 90s and they don't understand that anyways, and that's okay. But like, you know, Kevin Bacon actually was the only character that I felt like had like a moment of redemption, like where he's like, okay, what I did was crappy to someone back in the day. I'm going to go do this. Kiefer's didn't do anything, and they didn't do anything with Billy's. Like his wife left him, like, and he's like, okay, like, trust me, I don't think that dude's changing any way. Like,
still got that video camera.
He still has that video. Like, it's so like for me, the only person that really had a good redemption arc was Kevin Bacon from that standpoint. Agreed. And so I feel like they wanted to try to have that feeling from all, like, and that fell flat with the whole graveyard scene with Kiefer. Like it didn't work the way I think they wanted to, because they didn't earn it. And they didn't earn the chance to, you know, give the redemption either.
He was even being a dick to that kid, and he was dead already. Like he was like, come on, you little bastard.
He kind of was like, and I would have loved to seen them explore that trauma, because like you saw a shift in Kiefer's character in the movie, and that's what I liked about the character of like how he processed and was dealing with stuff and going through it. And I think that they could have really dug into that and expanded out even more than they did. But it just, it didn't work for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. John, man, what do you think they're trying to say with this film? What's the theme to you, man?
I think everybody hit it, but Dylan said it the most. What's on the other side? You know, or why rush to get there? Okay, you know, enjoy this time you have here. You know, but I think that was really. Or you could get 5 idiots to do anything. You know, if you get 5 idiots together, they'll do anything. What? Wait, 1, 2, 3.
Oh shit! Did we flatline this review?
I don't know.
Time out. Is that a Twilight blanket behind you?
Fuck you, man. Oh, sorry.
No, I said that as a good.
I was I was gonna say we ain't allowed to curse because I've been swearing the whole time.
Oh,
I've been swearing all night, man. I think you guys all hit the nail on the head with all of that. I would just add, because I think a lot of writers, or at least a lot of directors, they kind of put the theme of their movies in a line that a character says, right? And I think one of the most important lines in this movie is when Julia Roberts calls up, Kiefer Sutherland calls up Julia Roberts, and she thinks it's Kevin Bacon, and she was like, and she was like, it doesn't matter, don't worry, it doesn't matter. And he goes, everything you do matters. And I think
that's a line.
And I think that was the line that kind of is what they were going for. Whether they landed it or not, it's up to the viewer. But I think that's what they were trying to say. Like, every action matters. And I think Kiefer Sutherland fucking realized it. You know what I mean? He realized it at that moment, and they all did in a certain way. So yeah, that's what I think the theme of this movie, or what it's trying to say. Ultimately, even though it might have not got the message across fully. But yeah, let's rate this thing, man.
I'm glad you mentioned that line too, man. That was a good. I remember hearing that today too, and I was like, good ass fucking line. And I forgot about it, so I'm glad that was a good one, man. That was a good one.
Yeah, I think most movies do that. I don't know if you catch that. With me, I always catch that. Somebody says what this movie is about in their line.
The way Kiefer delivered that too. It's almost just like how in a lot of movies they always gotta say the title of their movie. It's like
exactly.
This is what it meant. This is what the movie meant.
Oh yeah. But yeah, Dylan, man, out of 5 backlogs, what do you give Flatliners from 1990?
Out of 5, I give it let me see. Yeah, I give it a 3. I was debating on maybe like a 3.25. I give it a 3. I like the movie, so even if like it's a 3, I'm not like I do enjoy the movie. It's just like when I'm like Lost Boys, it's not my favorite of Schumacher's. I really feel like I almost wish he could get another crack at it. If he could go back in time and then have the same cast and I think he could do, like, he knows he could do something better with it.
He would have to unflatline for that.
Yeah.
Well, if we could pick Kiefer Sutherland, I think we have a shot, John.
Right.
Go get your paddles.
Right. But yeah, man, I do enjoy it, man. I don't hate it by any means, and I've never seen the remake, so I can't like really compare them. But yeah, I think great cast for sure, and you could tell Schumacher and Kiefer were definitely good friends. I saw I forgot, I wasn't sure, but I thought I remember Kiefer was also in A Time to Kill, which is another fantastic Schumacher.
And so is
film.
Oliver Platt.
Yeah, that's a great movie, dude. And yeah, so I'm gonna go 3, man.
Oh yeah, that's solid. It looks like something not too good, but I think 3 is solid. It's better than Meh. Meh's right down the middle. So John.
Yeah. It's like a B. It's like a B minus. It's like a B minus for me.
Out of 5 backlogs, John, what do you get?
I'm gonna go wait. I'm going 1.5. I'm going 1.5. Do not bring this back. Do not put the paddles on this. Do not it's not, don't do it. Just turn the video camera off, Billy Baldwin, and walk away. It's not cool. It's not cool.
Damn, 1.5 for John's College for Kids. Damn. And he did a whole Schumacher show. Look at that shit. This shit is crazy.
Way more time on Flawless. We did.
Oh, Greg, man, out of 5 backlogs, what do you give Flatliners?
I'll be a little nicer than John. I'll say a 2, and it's about you're lucky it's a 2 and not lower for me. It's a 2.
I got
It
you.
was like,
I
ain't
got
none of y'all coming back.
I know. I don't. I'm never coming back. I'm sorry. So I'm just gonna
He's
own
like,
it
I ain't
for two. Like I
He's
might as
like,
well.
I'm
I
letting
stole,
all y'all,
I stole
no,
Fable. I
bitches
tried to
in that
steal
line.
Fable's character. I said it's a 2. I'm just
Dylan,
might as
you
well
know
go
how we
all
do,
in.
Dylan. What I'll
I
do
know, I
is
know.
I'll
I know.
call Greg or I'll call John. I said, "What's John's favorite movie?" And then I'll make sure it's something I hate so that we can just get our revenge.
Right.
Yeah, let's see you crap on Raiders of the Lost Ark. Just bring that shit around here.
Oh, that's it. We're doing Batman Forever next. That's it.
Oh, hey,
Please.
I will sing the.
Please.
We'll flip the script.
Because here's
Greg
the
and
deal.
I,
Fable.
Greg and
Here's
I
the
will
deal.
cheer.
Here's the deal, Fable. People
Yeah.
forget that Batman Forever is separate than Batman and Robin, and they
Yeah,
try to
two
lump the
different
two
films.
together way too often,
Not fair.
and it's not fair.
Oh
Batman
well,
Forever.
you know
I
what?
love Batman
I'm gonna
Forever.
be honest with you. Yeah, you're right. Batman Forever was pretty solid. Batman
Slaps
and
is the
Robin,
word.
though, holy crap!
I'm not defending it here.
We're not here to defend Batman and
But
Robin, but we'll defend Batman Forever
deserves your
for a
respect.
long
Okay.
time.
I hear that.
It's got a good soundtrack. I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah,
John
nope.
Castle, what do you rate out of 5 backlogs Flatliners, man?
Oh, wow. I like the movie. I think a little bit better and all. I was going to give it like a 3. So, what is really funny that you guys are always saying he goes with the same actors. Did you guys know that I found out while, interviewing, looking at little shit, that Val Kilmer was the first choice for Kiefer Sutherland.
Ooh.
Okay. And
Really?
he turned it down. Val Kilmer turned it down.
Oh,
And Nicole Kidman was supposed to be Julia Roberts' part. And she got it. But, okay, which one? Val Kilmer, Batman, Nicole Kidman in the Batman.
yeah.
So he used those same actresses and
I
actors.
gotcha.
So-
He was like, he must have really wanted to work with them. So he was like, I didn't get to work with y'all on Flatliners.
Yeah.
Let me try to
Yeah.
get him for Batman
So-
Forever.
Let's do
Hey,
it.
I
Yeah,
found
they'll
that-
do that.
I found that pretty cool. So
That is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that is cool.
yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
3, yeah. I'm gonna go right there with you. 3. I think it's better than average. There's something about this movie that stuck in my mind since I saw it the first time when I was 10 years old. So movies that are 2.5 do not do that. I'll tell you that right now. So just
Right.
off of that plain fact, visuals, premise, cast, things like that. I think there's a lot to enjoy in this movie. And even though maybe some of us were like, whatever, I think there's other people that are probably, because if you look at the reviews from critics and stuff, it's pretty much half and half. Like,
Yeah,
either
there's
you
a fan
kind of
base
like
for
it
that.
or you kind of don't, and that's just it. It's just
Yeah.
like a 50-50 split on this. So I'm gonna give it a solid 3 as well. I think it's worth a watch for a lot of reasons, right? Like if anything, just to see Kiefer Sutherland's badass. You know what I'm saying? Like in one of his early movies and stuff like that. So yeah, man. So we got 3 from Dylan, a 1.5 from John, a 2 from Greg, and a 3 from John, and I gave it a 3. So that's an average of what? 2.2569 dudes. Hell yeah. Hey, shit. Oh, and that concludes our freaking first time review. Well, my first time review of a movie review of Flatliners, man. Thank you everybody for joining us tonight, man. We had a killer chat, guys. Like so many people showed up in our chat to say what's up and hi. This was awesome for a first timer. So thank you. I really appreciate you guys on the panel, your time, and I appreciate you guys in the chat, man. This has been a dream. But before we get out of here, of course, I want to go around the horn, find out what you guys got going on, and tell the people where they could find you. Dylan, let the people know where they could find you. What's next for you?
You already know, man. We got March Madness coming. Kicked off week 1 with oh my God, why am I with Jacob's Ladder. Me and Scarp had reviewed that, and we'll be doing week 2.
The best psychological thriller of the 90s. Just want to know.
Yeah,
I want
good
everybody
one,
to
man.
know
That
that.
came out the same year. They both came out the same year in the 90s.
I
Yeah,
know.
yep.
I know.
Great film, man. Had a real good time reviewing that and watching it because I hadn't seen that since I was a kid, and like I said, it was like my first time because when I saw it as a kid, that shit all went over my head. And we'll be doing this movie called Bliss, which was like a Shudder exclusive, but one I don't see people talk about, and I was trying to I try to keep it within that, like when Robbie would, like, years ago when he first told me about March Madness, it'd be like, oh, like with these, people just going fucking nuts and shit. So that was like one of those that I thought this would be a good one to do. And I remember when I watched it years ago, I was like, this is pretty fucking awesome. So yeah, we're doing it. I think it was 2018 movie called Bliss. So about some chick who's like an artist and she's got some deadline and she gets trying to get drugs or something, and her dealer brings over this new drug, and I think they've done similar stuff, but I thought this one was cool, so should be fun. Should be a fun one. So we'll be doing that this Sunday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, every Sunday now. I was telling you, Phil, I used to do Saturday, but now my shows are always Sunday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Once in a while, if something comes up, I might have to push it to Monday, but usually it's Sunday night.
Oh yeah, brother. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Of course, bro.
Happy to be a part of March Madness with you guys. Thank you for adding me to the roster. Everybody go sub up to Dylan's Horror Show, man. He is one of the most knowledgeable people in horror movies I've ever met in my life. He knows more about movies I grew up watching, and he wasn't even around. It's insane. But
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate it. I've dedicated my life to this shit.
Oh, John, man. Yeah, you definitely were John AF tonight. You definitely were. And I love you for it, my brother. That's exactly why I wanted you here. Thank you for your time. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got coming up, man.
Yeah. John's Comics with Kids, pretty much anywhere you go. Hopefully you find me that way. I dropped a video yesterday on my favorite Vertigo comics, really great publisher and some really phenomenal comics you should check out. Tomorrow night, I'm hosting a live stream with my buddy Whitewell Comics, looking at the best indie comic books that came out last month. We'll talk Bug Wars by Jason Aaron. We'll talk about The Seasons by Rick Remender. Should be a whole lot of fun chatting it up with him. And then I drop a video on Thursday on Golden Age Comics. And then on Saturday night, I'm hanging out with this Jamoke right here. We're talking about
that guy.
We're talking about Gene Hackman, the passing of an all-time icon in film, and some of his great movies. We'll probably dip a little bit into some other great talents that have passed, like James Earl Jones and Donald Sutherland. But yeah, Gene Hackman's passing kind of hit me, in a big way. I just grew up with his movies, and so I was like, let's do this. And Greg and I have done a few of these in memoriam kind of shows. It's been a great way to highlight some phenomenal people in film.
Yeah, when I heard he died, I'd rather go home and watch Crimson Tide, man.
Yeah,
good pick. I went with Royal Tenenbaums, but I get you.
Oh, if you're not already subbed up to John's Comics with Kids, what's your problem? Like, what's really going on? What's really going on with you in life?
Do you actually have a life?
I don't understand this. And what he really meant to say was, turn on YouTube and he'll be there. That's all he didn't even have to.
I got you.
Stuff. Yeah. And of course, thank you for referring the great bearded comic bro, who is absolutely murdering it with content, with interviewing all these creators. Oh my God, dude! Like, when I saw your lineup that you showed off the other day of all the people you've done already, and I was like, holy shit. Bearded, thanks for your time, bro. Let the people know what you got going on.
Yeah, I mean, find me at Bearded Comic Bro wherever you do social stuff. I was about to make a joke of like, I'm probably have a show with John. Completely forgetting that I do have a show with John on Saturday. So
gentle reminder.
Come check that out. Yeah, I'm gonna be in Lexington Friday, Saturday, shooting some content, and then I will be back though. Don't worry, John, for our show. Don't for doing some press for interviews, hoping to get there. But yeah, my channel has really just shifted into all comic creator interviews. I have just had a Eisner nominated creator on this morning that I recorded. I've got a couple of DC Marvel guys with some big books that you all are reading coming up the next couple weeks, and who knows, so anything from the big two to Image to Kickstarter books to indie books, comic creators, I interview them and we just talk about comics. So that's kind of what I do now fully on the channel. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. You do a fantastic job. We just got to get you more Marvel books. That's all. That's the only problem.
I've had my fair share though of Marvel, right? Like listen, I had Ryan North on. He's doing a Marvel event. So what more do you want?
I love it, dude, man. Thank you. Thank you again for joining us. We got to do this again sometime in the future. Hopefully this turns into something on this channel. I'm hoping going forward, and we'll definitely hit you back up to come join us. Castle, my brother came out. He was like the first one to sign up for this movie, man. I felt that energy. I love your energy, Castle. Let the people know, my brother. Where can they find John Castle?
I'm only doing shorts now, the Castle's Corner, and thank you all for watching, and I appreciate it. It's growing really big. So ever since I started at the comic book store, and then with you guys especially, it's gone up. It's blown. So I mean, I've had writers and artists send me postcard. What is who drew Steve Lieberman Memento? I did a video, and he sent the store a postcard saying thank you, and actually drew a little metamorpho on it.
Nice.
So,
yeah, dude.
It was awesome. So and then I might be on a couple shows on the _experience. They've asked me to do a couple shows, but I don't have time, with comic book store and all. So, but I might be doing some there. And then I always love being on the channel, especially if somebody asks me and all stuff like that, because I have fun doing this. And it's fun especially these movie previews, because I try to compare most of the movies I've seen back in the 80s and 90s, some 70s. And, and to see it now, I like to see the two different ways that I used to like that. Now I don't. And vice versa. So I love doing this kind of stuff. So I appreciate you accepting me coming on. And
absolutely, dude. We're going to do more of these. I got to have you on, man. I need this kind of energy in my life. So I could be like a vampire.
It's all yours, man.
Tuga said he hopes to see more of John and Bearded. Yeah, absolutely, man. And Bonnie and Clyde, favorite Gene Hackman, along with Superman. Absolutely, my brother. Of course, the next March Madness movie you can catch will be this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern on Blood, Splatter, Chatter with Verno and his crew over there. They'll be doing The House by the Cemetery, man. So come check that out this Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then Sunday, my boy Dylan already said Bliss. 10:30 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yes, sir.
10:30 p.m. Eastern. Catch Bliss.
Yes, sir.
And then the following Monday, I will be joining Rock and Robbie over on his channel for Pop Culture Philosophers Movie Night, and we're gonna do Dead Ringers, man. I don't know if you guys ever seen Dead Ringers, but we're definitely gonna knock that one out the park next Monday. And as far as me, I won't be doing a movie review next week, but the week after, man, I come back with Fight Club. That one, look out for that review. I got a great lineup of guests for that one. And my last movie for March Madness will be Old Boy. I don't know if anybody's seen Old Boy. It's one of my favorite movies. You want to talk about March Madness?
The original, right?
The original. Come on. It's just like Flatliners, bro. It's just like Flatliners.
Still traumatized. Still traumatized. Too soon, Fable. Too soon.
I love you guys, man. Like I said, keep in tune for March Madness. Yeah, before I go, Friday, the all new, all different Blaine Fable show, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we go over pop culture stuff, joined by the regular crew there. So come hang out, guys. This has been amazing. I love you guys. See you. Have a good night. Yeah, station.